Oxford County is the dairy capital of Canada, and at the heart of the rolling countryside on Gunn's Hill Road is a family business that has been wowing turophiles, otherwise known as lovers of cheese, for more than a decade. Since 2011, Gunn's Hill Artisan Cheese has been educating enthusiasts on local agriculture and the art of cheesemaking. They've taken home a number of industry awards for their specialty products, and one of their original offerings remains in strong demand.
Five Brothers is our most popular cheese by far. It's modeled after a Swiss cheese called Appenzeller. So Appenzeller is made kind of in the northeast of Switzerland. So it's a firmer cheese, but not super hard. So the texture is kind of like a firmer version of Gouda. Lots and lots of flavor, so you get a lot of complexity when you bite into it. Even though it's firmer, it also has kind of a nice creamy texture to it, and these kind of things combine to probably make it our most popular cheese.
The name of this Gouda and Appenzeller blend, beside its next-door dairy ingredient, has a family note.
Five Brothers is named after the fact that I'm one of five brothers. We don't all work in the business together, but it just kind of ties into the family.
The farm was started by Shep's grandfather, an immigrant from Holland in the 1950s. Shep decided to get into cheesemaking in 2008 and traveled across Canada and into the United States and overseas before returning home and making plans for a cheese factory. Shep credits his travels for shaping how he experiences cheese.
I went to Switzerland. I didn't really know what I was in for. And I was kind of ignorant at that point in time. I thought Swiss cheese, just had the big holes in it. That's a very specific type of Swiss cheese I know now. It's called Emmental. Comes from what's called the Emmy Valley. And then when I was there, I was like, there's all these other kinds that were produced in different regions because it's super regional. And just being exposed to all those different kinds really opened my mind to the different flavors that could be possible with different types of cheese.
Making cheese starts with raw milk coming from the farm next door on alternate days so that Gunn's Hill will make cheese 5 days of the week. The milk is kept at a chilly 2 degrees in large stainless steel tanks. It's continually stirred to make sure the cream doesn't rise to the top. The days start early, around 4 a.m., and first off is pasteurization. Here, milk is heated up to kill off any unwanted harmful bacteria, up to a temperature around 72 degrees Celsius, and it holds at that temperature for 16 seconds. Then the milk is cooled back down to between 30 and 35 degrees, depending on what cheese is being made. It's then transferred to cheese vats. The main vat, where Five Brothers is being produced, holds about 4,000 liters of milk. It takes an hour and a half to fill up. As the vat's filling up, the first ingredient of cheesemaking, a bacteria culture, is added. The culture effectively eats the sugar or the lactose in the milk and then converts that into lactic acid. As time goes on, the milk becomes more acidic and sours. Once the vats are full, the next main ingredient added is rennet, a microbial enzyme that coagulates the milk in about 30 minutes, transforming it from liquid to semi-solid, like the texture of a really soft gel. Once it's thick enough, knives are lowered into the vat, cutting the mass as they spin into smaller pieces known as curds. As it turns faster and faster, the pieces become smaller and smaller until they're the size of a kernel of corn. The yellowish liquid between the curds is called whey, the watery portion of milk. As the curds slowly shrink, more whey is removed, leaving the solid curd and within fat and protein. The next step is washing of the curd, where 30% of the whey is drained and hot water is slowly added back, gently heating up the mixture while at the same time diluting it. The temperature heats from 32 degrees Celsius to 39 to 40, depending again on the type of cheese. When the right temperature and full of water again, the mixture is stirred for another 45 minutes. One of the biggest steps in cheesemaking is draining most of the whey. Using a pump, the curd mixture and whey is pumped into a drain table. This table has screens on the side and back, draining away all the whey while the curd stays behind. Heavy plates are then placed on top during pre-pressing, and after 10 minutes, the result is a rectangular mass of loosely held curd. A team member uses a curd cutter and cuts the mass into blocks. These particular blocks are inserted into plastic molds with tiny little holes where the blocks are squeezed. They'll get squeezed typically for about 2 hours. The pressure pushes all of those individual curds into solid wheels of cheese. When the pressing is done, the wheels are taken off and brought to a table. There's still a little bit of whey that's coming out of the curd, and the bacteria needs a bit of time to do its thing. So they are turned a few more times during the day to ensure an even moisture content and kept on the drain table overnight. The Five Brothers variety will cure for 8 months. After its 8-month-long hibernation, Five Brothers is ready to go. Some of the cheeses are sent out as full wheels, but the majority of them are pre-packaged, while other wheels are cut into pieces ranging from 170 to 200 grams. These individual pieces are put through a clasp, a vacuum sealing machine. The machine moves forward and the pieces are placed into these little pockets, vacuum sealed, then come out at the other end where a label is fixed and they're ready to go. Shep and his wife Colleen own the factory and have about 8 more people working full-time and a couple part-time. While a lot of cheese is sold right at the factory located on Gunn's Hill Road, you can find the artisanal cheese at independent cheese shops and in grocery chains such as Sobeys, Loblaws, Farm Boy, and Longo's. Aside from being made from locally sourced ingredients, Gunn's Hill Artisan cheese has the benefit of being situated in a region where more dairy milk is produced than anywhere else. It's also situated close enough to larger urban centres such as Kitchener, London, and a 2-hour drive to Toronto. For Shep, sharing with people the science of agriculture and the art of cheesemaking, his passion, is deeply personal.
So I love cheese. There's a reason I do what I do, because I absolutely love cheese. So we are always trying different cheeses in our family. People think, oh, you just must eat your own cheese all day, but we don't. We buy cheese from everywhere. We eat cheese from everywhere.
These wheels were certainly made for eating. Proudly made in Ontario.